Hey everyone, it's Tony here from Retirees Benefits. And if you've been asking me about stimulus checks and what's happening on November 7th, you need to hear this entire video because there's a major announcement coming that directly relates to any stimulus that may be distributed, and I'm going to tell you exactly what to watch for. I get questions about this literally every single day. When are checks coming? Who's getting them? What do I need to do? And here's the thing. I'm going to give you the real answer. Not what you want to hear, but what you actually need to know so you can understand how this really works. November 7th is a critical date. And whether you're unemployed, struggling to make ends meet on benefits, or just trying to survive in this economy, this announcement will show us what's really happening and what might be coming down the pipeline. I've been tracking this for months, reading all the reports so you don't have to, and I'm breaking down exactly what this means for your wallet. But first, so what's happening on November 7th? We're getting the non-farm payroll report, also called the jobs report, for the month of October. And you might be thinking, what do jobs have to do with stimulus checks? Actually, everything. Let me explain. This jobs report gives us a big, broad look at the overall economy. Are businesses hiring or firing? What's happening with the unemployment rate? What about the labor participation rate? How many people are actually working? All of these data points tell us whether the economy is growing or whether it's slowing down and contracting. Here's the reality that nobody wants to say out loud. There's a massive divide in this country right now. A lot of people are saying the economy is terrible. It's not serving them. They're struggling financially. And then there's a small subset of very wealthy people who are doing just fine and don't really need to worry about any of this. But for the vast majority of us, the general population, things are tough. Finances are tight. Everything is expensive. Inflation has eaten away at our buying power. People are losing jobs. AI is replacing workers. We're seeing all of this reflected in the economic data. Now here's what I need you to understand, and this is the part people don't like to hear. Stimulus has nothing to do with how many times we write letters to Congress. It doesn't matter how many times we call and leave voicemails, how much we beg or plead or ask for payments. It all comes down to the economy. Every single time when the economy comes knocking, asking for financial relief, it gets its wishes granted almost immediately. The economy says, "Hey, I'm struggling. I need stimulus." And lawmakers respond with hundreds of billions or even trillions of dollars. But they don't respond the same way to us, the people who are actually struggling. Kind of interesting how that works, right? But that's the reality. Stimulus gets approved when the economy is slowing, when we're entering a recession, when economic data shows contraction. That's when lawmakers act, not because we ask nicely, but because the economic indicators are flashing red. And here's something else you need to know. The officials aren't going to come out and tell us we're in a recession. The Federal Reserve Chairman, the President, lawmakers, none of them are going to say, "Hey, we believe we're in a massive recession." They know better than that. If they said it out loud, it would collapse everything very quickly. Instead, they thread the needle. They say things like, "We're seeing a little bit of softness," or "There may be some slowing, but we think things are still good." Meanwhile, in their heads, they might be thinking, "This is bad. This is really bad," but they can't say it. That's why we watch the data, not the speeches. So, when this jobs report comes out on November 7th, here's what I'm watching and what you should pay attention to. The unemployment rate. This is important, but it's not the whole picture. Initial jobless claims. We get these every single week, and they tell us how many people are filing for unemployment. This is a key indicator. Labor participation rate. How many people are actually working? This number doesn't get talked about enough, but it gives us critical information about what's really happening in the labor market. Revisions to previous months. This is huge. Are they revising the previous month's numbers higher or lower? Have they gone negative? When previous months get revised significantly lower, or even go negative, it shows us that things have been weaker for longer than they told us. These revisions happen all the time, and they're a big clue that the data we're getting isn't as strong as the headlines suggest. All of this data together paints the real picture of where the economy is headed. And where the economy goes, stimulus decisions follow. Let me be clear about who needs to pay attention to this. If you're unemployed, these job numbers directly affect you. They determine how long benefits might be extended and whether additional relief programs get funded if you're underemployed, working part-time but need full-time work. These numbers show whether jobs are actually available or if the market is contracting. If you're on fixed benefits, Social Security, disability, SSI, when the economy struggles, there's more pressure for additional relief payments or benefit increases. If you're a single parent trying to make it work, job market conditions affect whether you can find work that actually covers childcare costs and pays enough to survive. If you're a veteran, economic downturns often lead to discussions about veteran-specific relief and benefit adjustments. If you're just barely hanging on financially, when economic data shows widespread struggle, that's when lawmakers start talking about direct payments, tax rebates, or other forms of relief. The bottom line is this: if you're part of the 90% who are struggling rather than the 10% doing great, these economic indicators matter to you. Here's the reality check I need to give you. These jobs numbers are lagging indicators. By the time we see bad numbers in a jobs report, the economy has often been struggling for months already. Officials wait until the data is undeniable before they act. They wait for multiple months of bad reports, rising unemployment, declining labor participation. They need to see the trend, not just one bad month. So if you're asking when will stimulus checks come, the answer is when the economic data becomes impossible to ignore, when multiple indicators are flashing red, when the pressure becomes so great that lawmakers have no choice but to respond. Could that be soon? Potentially. We're seeing warning signs. Weekly jobless claims have been elevated. There are concerns about economic slowdown, but we need to see it reflected consistently in the data. November 7th, T's report is one piece of the puzzle. If it shows weakness, especially significant weakness, or major negative revisions, it adds to the case. But it's rarely one single report that triggers action. It's the accumulation of evidence. I know this isn't the exciting news you wanted. You wanted me to say, yes, checks are coming next week. But I'd rather give you the truth so you can plan accordingly. Here's what you should do. Stop waiting for a miracle. Don't put your life on hold waiting for stimulus. Make decisions based on what you have right now, not what might come. Track the data yourself. Follow the monthly jobs reports, the weekly jobless claims. You can find this information for free online. When you see the trends, you'll understand what's coming better than any rumor. Apply for everything you qualify for. Don't wait for stimulus. Right now. Apply for SNAP benefits, utility assistance, LIHEAP for heating costs, local food banks, rental assistance, whatever programs exist in your area. Use what's available now. Build a tiny emergency fund if you can. Even $10 a week adds up. When/if stimulus does come, you'll be in a better position to use it strategically rather than desperately. Check state programs. Some states are offering their own relief programs that you might qualify for. Google your state relief programs 2025 and see what's available. Look, I wish I could tell you that November 7th means checks are definitely coming, but that's not how this works. What November 7th means is we get more information about the true state of the economy. If the jobs report is weak, if unemployment rises, if revisions are negative, if labor participation drops, that moves us closer to the economic conditions that trigger stimulus. But it's a process, not an instant switch. The economy has to come knocking first. Then lawmakers respond. It's backwards, it's frustrating, and it doesn't prioritize the people who need help most. But that's the system we're dealing with. So keep watching these indicators. Keep applying for help that's available now. Keep surviving, because when economic data finally forces action, you want to be ready, not desperate. All right. If this video helped you understand what's really happening with stimulus and why November 7th matters, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I post videos about benefits, assistance programs, and the real truth about what's happening with our economy. Share this video with anyone you know who's asking about stimulus checks. Check out the other videos on this channel where I break down benefits, state programs, and real resources that can help you right now. Not someday, but today. And remember, the system may not prioritize us, but we prioritize each other. This community is strong because we share real information, not false hope. We plan based on reality and we survive together. I'll see you in the next video. Keep your head up. We've made it this far and we'll keep making it.